Hello, everyone. Hello, my name is Dr. Janet Roark. I'm a veterinarian in Central Texas, and I'm here every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time to do a little Q&A, a quick little 10-minute Q&A here. I try to get as many questions answered in that time as possible every Sunday night just for you to learn about animals and essential oils and or just animals and or just essential oils. So we have a few people that have posted some questions. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those. If you're hopping on and you can hear me, in the chat, let me know you can hear me and what essential oil you're using today. I am loving balance today. So I traveled, and it helps keep me grounded throughout the travel day. Okay, so let me go to the questions while you guys are doing that. And a couple of announcements before we get to the questions. One is today is the last day to sign up for the Animal Aromatherapy Specialist Certification course, the 6-week long training that I do. Go to essentialoilvet.com/animal aromatherapy today if you want to get in on that. The other thing that I wanted to tell you about was that we do have a arthritis and inflammation webinar in the membership group. And I posted the link in the description of this video, so be sure to check that out if you want to really learn about those things. We have an hour-long training on it on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, so this time on Wednesday. So check that out, join that. If you can't come live, we do post those recordings in the membership group. Okay, so let's get to the questions for today. Our first one is from Prentice. She said, do you ever use CBD oil? As I've talked to you guys about before, but if you're new, I'll go over very quickly again. CBD is a very large molecule. It has to be metabolized in order for cells to use it in the body. It does work on the endocannabinoid system in the body, which there are cell receptors throughout the body for cannabinoids, and CBD is a cannabinoid. So I do like this oil, but I prefer copaiba because copaiba has a molecule called beta-caryophyllene, and beta-caryophyllene is a smaller molecule than CBD, and it actually acts directly on cells. It does not have to be metabolized. So CBD acts indirectly. Copaiba acts directly on those cells. It's a smaller molecule, therefore it acts a little quicker. And CBD is a larger molecule. There's benefits to both. There are some occasions where copaiba isn't quite enough. I like to add in CBD in addition to, not instead of, copaiba. And that is in really tough cases where you really need some additional, maybe neurologic support, maybe we're kind of end of life type situation, really difficult cancers and things like that. So it's not curative. Please keep that in mind, but it is something that can really support and help with some relief and comfort in those times. So that is when I use CBD oil. And the biggest problem with CBD is that you can literally get it anywhere, and there are different milligrams and different the quality is really hard to find when it comes to CBD. And so that is just something to keep in mind and go into this knowing there are a couple of good veterinary companies that have it, and it can be prescribed that way by your veterinarian. So good question. Our next question is from Roxy. Suggestions for a 22-year-old horse that seems listless. All its blood work is normal. It had a selenium boost a few months ago. So with this, there could be a lot of different things going on. One, I would make sure that the nutrition is on par for a senior horse like that, making sure that we're getting a good, solid senior feed. Make sure the weight of the horse is good. Double check the teeth. Your veterinarian obviously probably did that when they ran the blood work. But those sorts of things, like rule out anything medical, and then support the neurologic system and the energy levels of that horse. There are some other blood tests that you can do, check for things like Cushing's disease and things like that, which don't show up on normal blood work. You have to actually run a special test for that. So that might be something that you want to talk to your veterinarian about. It's very common in older horses. But as far as oils go, you can try peppermint. That usually wakes them up pretty quick and gets them going again. And or maybe some nervous system support oils like frankincense, copaiba. That also helps with the healthy inflammatory response. And so it's good for overall health. I like to give those ones internally to horses in their feed. So frankincense, copaiba, peppermint, all great choices in this case. There's other oils as well, but those would be the ones I'd probably start with. Okay, the next question is from Cindy. Cindy says, what are the best oils to use when you are crate training a puppy? So crate training a puppy is a lot of work, but it's so beneficial in the long run. So beneficial for veterinary visits, for grooming, for just whenever you have to leave the house and you don't want them to run free and eat your couch like my dogs like to do when they're puppies. I've had 2 couches eaten by puppies. And these were dogs that were crate trained, but the owner didn't put them in the crate when she left, aka me. So I can say that. So the best oils to use when you're training, crate training a puppy or training in general, you want oils that focus on calming and focus. So focus, like paying attention, like using your brain. So I really like calming oils like we have the grounding blend, the calming blend, the restful blend. We have lavender, Roman chamomile, petitgrain, magnolia, all good options. So you would check with your puppy to see which one they like the smell of the most and use that one and just diffuse it while they're in their crate. So those are all calming ones. We also have focused oils like coriander, patchouli. We have our focus blends. We have the kids blend and the adult focus blends. Either one of those are fine to use with dogs topically. And then we also things like rosemary can be really good. So a lot of different oils that can help with that sort of thing. Again, just do some self-selection or zoopharmacognosy and let them smell the oils, see which one they like the most, and then go from there. Joan says, my dog gets anxiety colitis after spending the weekend with my daughter's larger 8-month-old puppy. How can I avoid future episodes, and how can I help my dog once she has some loose stool, some diarrhea? So the digestive support oils are going to be really helpful. We have a digestive blend. We have a roller blend that's good. You can just roll it right on their bellies. That's super helpful, making sure that they get good probiotics. If it's only when spending time with a puppy, it might be because they have they get overexerted, especially if it's an older dog. And it's not necessarily anxiety related, but it's just overexertion. Or it could be if your dog doesn't normally get treats, or maybe it happens very frequently. I'm not saying that's what's happening with your dog, Joan, but if they eat each other's food or gets extra treats or something like that, that's what's actually causing the digestive upset. Or if they're outside in the heat, that can also kind of trigger that as well. So extra probiotics leading up to the playtime with the puppy, calming oils during the playtime to make sure that the puppy isn't play all the time if that older dog needs a little bit of a rest. And then digestive support oils if and when afterwards to really support that gut as well. Okay, so those would be my recommendations for you, Miss Joan. Patricia says, should you dip navels for calves? And what do you recommend using if so? So there's a lot of different schools of thought on this. It definitely doesn't hurt anything, in my opinion. People have been doing it for ages. But also animals have also been having babies for ages without us getting involved. So take that for what it is. Do what's best for you. I like doing myrrh at birth, myrrh and frankincense at birth. So doing the navels and myrrh. diluted myrrh, and then frankincense on the top of the head. Is just a great way to bring an animal into the world, no matter what species, but really good for calves as well. Amy says, my 30-pound dog needs knee surgery. We go August 1st to find out what kind. We think it's a TPLO. What can I do to support her before and after the surgery? So with that, we want to support the immune system beforehand and maybe the liver a little bit. So you can use some protective blend beforehand. Rose is really good beforehand. And then afterwards, the dog's probably going to have a bandage on. So you can't do any oils topically right around where the surgical site is. But once the bandage is removed, you can actually do a little bit of diluted, very diluted, 1 to 2% helichrysum and myrrh around the suture site. And then also you want to still support that immune system afterwards as well. And then you can also do we want to help the inflammatory response afterwards. So some frankincense and copaiba internally can be done as well. 1 drop of each twice a day. So that is really helpful. We also have the polyphenols that you can give as well. Jasmine wants me to pick my 3 favorite children, aka what are your top 3 oils for puppies and why? Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones. My top 3 would probably be Balance, the grounding blend. Why? Because it is good for everything. It's very calming. I use it. It supports and promotes homeostasis, and it has frankincense in it, and so it's a good way to get some kind of more expensive oils in a pre-diluted awesome blend. I probably after that would choose copaiba, because copaiba supports all of the systems within the body. It's part of that it really supports the endocannabinoid system, which again, there's receptors throughout the entire body for that. So I really like that one it's good for calming, it's great for the heart, it's good for the digestive system, and it's good for the lungs and the liver and kidneys and everything. So I really like that oil. It's probably one of my top oil. It is probably my top single oil for all animals actually, but especially dogs. And my number 3, it's really hard to pick a third one because it kind of depends on what is going on with that particular animal. But if it's a healthy puppy and we've already got copaiba and Balance, then I would probably pick a digestive blend. Simply because puppies are always eating things they're not supposed to. And whenever we have vomiting or diarrhea or all that nasty stuff, people want a really quick fix, and you want to have that available. You don't want to have to wait 3 to 5 days for somebody to ship it to you. So you want to have that on hand. That's one of those kind of like, you want to have that on hand all the time. It's not one that you necessarily have to use every single day, maybe like the other ones you might use every day. But that would be, a case could be made for a protective blend to support the immune system as well. So that's kind of like my 4th one. But a case could be made for either one of those, since we have the copaiba, which is good for the immune system, but it's also good for the digestive system, if you want to diversify a little bit. But I'd probably make sure you have that digestive blend on hand. And our last pre-posted question was from Mandy Kramer, who says, can Helichrysum Touch be used around the eye of an orbital bone to help with cloudiness in a 40-pound dog, or does it need to be diluted more? In general, the Touch roller bottles are already pre-diluted in a way that you do not need to dilute it more. The kids' roller bottles also are already pre-diluted enough that you do not have to dilute it more, unless we're talking about like a 2-pound kitten or a dog or something like that. Then I would still use the kids ones, no problem. I might dilute the Touch ones a little bit more. Helichrysum is very, very gentle as far as oils go, and so that one I would not necessarily dilute more in this particular case. Good question. Let's see. Danielle Thomas is wondering, I can't post your question because it's not compliant. But she's asking if she can use copaiba with her chihuahua, and the answer is yes, you can. So if you guys want to learn more about copaiba, you can go to essentialoilvet.com and do a search for copaiba. There's the kind of like how to give it, the instructions on that. Or you can search the Facebook page here because we have that. We have talked about copaiba quite a bit over the years. Let's see. Carol is using Calmer. Danielle's using TerraShield. Emily is using eucalyptus. I used some eucalyptus earlier today, you guys, because I had my ear would not pop after I was in the mountains and I came down and it kind of got stuffed up. And then I went into an airplane and then came back down and it was still stuffed up after like 5 hours. It wouldn't pop. And so I used some eucalyptus, some helichrysum, some tea tree, some basil, and some lavender on my ear and just laid down with the clogged ear up. And then within about 30 minutes or so, it popped and I can hear fine now. Everything is so much better. It felt so good. Oh my gosh. So little pro tip there for when you're flying. Diane is asking about, she says, I'm new to essential oils, flea and tick prevention. I really like a blend called TerraShield for that. But I actually have a full free download for you, Diane, if you would like. Let me see if I can get the link for that. It's essentialoilvet.com/fleas. So this one is a really good one that gives you all the information that you need for preventing, as well as if you have a little bit of a problem with fleas, how to handle that. So definitely check that out as well. Digestive support for a kitty. I would just use the kids digestive blend. Alicia says that. All right. And then Marissa, I'm not going to answer your question, but I'm going to post it. How can I best support my older cat that has arthritis? There are a lot of really good oils that can help with that. But what I would recommend is that you come to the webinar in the membership group on Wednesday that we're specifically going to be talking about arthritis and inflammation. It's going to help you so much. And you're going to get even more information than just me saying, oh, try frankincense or try copaiba, which those ones are also really good ones that you can try. So, but if you want more than that, definitely come on Wednesday. The link to become an Essential Oil Vet member, you can sign up for a month or 6 months or a year. Your choice is essentialoilvet.com/members. I'll see you in there on Wednesday, and I hope you guys have an amazing week.